All right, let's jump right in. We tend to think of governance as this really complicated thing that happens somewhere else by people we don't know. But what if there was a playbook, a guide that actually puts the power to shape your own community right back into your hands? Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're opening up that playbook.
I mean, you know the feeling, right? You're sitting in traffic that never seems to move, you see the same pothole on your street for months, or you hear people worrying about whether there are enough good jobs in town. It is so easy to feel frustrated, maybe a little powerless, and you're just left thinking, why isn't this working better? And look, we're not talking about small stuff here. Just look at this list. These are the big things, the real quality of life issues. We're talking about jobs, clean streets, a roof over your head, getting from point A to point B, and staying healthy. This is the stuff that makes up our day-to-day reality, and every single one of them is tied directly to how our communities are governed.
But here's the thing, and this is so important. You are not on the sidelines here. You're not just a spectator watching the game. You're a player on the field. The whole system is actually designed for you to be involved. So let's get into it. It's time to crack open this playbook and really learn the rules.
So our first play, the absolute foundation of everything, is something called Civic Education. And no, this is not your boring old high school civics class. This isn't about memorizing a bunch of old dates. This is about getting the practical knowledge you need to be an effective player in the game, like right now.
So what is it exactly? Well, civic education is all about getting up to speed on the issues, the social, the economic, the political stuff that affects you. And here's the key part. It's also about understanding your role and what you can do about it. Think of it this way. It's the difference between just complaining about a problem and knowing exactly who to call to start getting it fixed. And this right here is basically your roadmap. It shows you the journey. It all starts with learning, knowing your rights, but also your responsibilities. Once you have that knowledge, you can build the skills to speak up effectively. That empowers you to actually engage with public officials and be heard. And then that last step, informing others, that's when you create a ripple effect, making the whole community stronger. It's a cycle of empowerment.
All right, so you've got the knowledge. Now, where do you actually use it? We need to understand the playing field itself. And that means getting a handle on two huge concepts, democracy and governance. If you don't know the field, you can't make your moves count.
Democracy. At its heart, it's a really simple but powerful idea. It's just a system of government that's supposed to be based on what the people want, their will. It's not about some king or some distant committee making all the calls for you. The whole point is that the system should reflect you.
Just let that sink in for a second. Rule by the people. Seriously, everything, absolutely everything else in a democracy is supposed to flow from that one powerful idea. It means the real power, the ultimate authority, isn't in some government building. It's with us, the people.
Okay, so if democracy is the what, the big idea, the system itself, then governance is the how. It's the nuts and bolts. It's the process of actually managing things day to day, making the decisions, running all those services we saw earlier, and this shows you exactly why you have to be involved. Without citizens, without you, governance is just an engine with no driver.
Right, so the goal isn't just any governance. We're aiming for good governance. That's the objective. That's the prize we're all playing for. This is what winning looks like for our community.
The first principle, the absolute cornerstone, is participation, and this is huge. It means everybody gets a say. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, how much money you have. Your voice is supposed to be part of the conversation. Good governance can't be run by just a small group. It needs everyone.
Next up, we've got transparency. You can't have good governance if everything is happening in secret, right? It means decisions are made out in the open. The public needs to be able to see why decisions are made and how policies are being carried out. You have a fundamental right to know what your government is up to.
And of course, that flows right into our third principle, accountability. Because when things are transparent, when you know what's going on, you can actually hold people responsible. It means public officials have to answer to us, the public they serve. This is the check and balance. It's how we make sure that rule by the people isn't just a nice slogan, it's actually happening.
So we know who the players are and we know what the goal is. But what about the rules of the game? Well, every game needs a rule book, and for a country, that rule book is its constitution.
The Constitution, think of it as the ultimate rule book. It's the supreme law. It sets up the whole game, the structure of the government, the powers of each branch, and, so importantly, it lays out our rights and our responsibilities as citizens. Basically, no other law can break the rules set in this book.
But not every rule book is written the same way. They usually come in one of two flavors.
A written constitution puts it all down in one single book. An unwritten one is more like a collection of laws and traditions that have built up over time. And there are pros and cons to both. One is super clear and stable, the other is more flexible and can change with the times.
Okay, so let's be real for a second. Just like in any game, there are going to be obstacles. There are hurdles on the field that can make it really, really hard to achieve that goal of good governance, and it's important to know what they are.
So here's some of the big ones we see. Things like conflict and discrimination, they just tear communities apart. You can have institutions that are too weak to actually do their job, or maybe leaders just aren't in it for the long haul. When these things happen, progress can just stop.
Yeah, those are all really big, serious challenges, no doubt about it. But what if the biggest challenge of all, the one that makes all the others worse, is something else entirely? The single greatest obstacle to good governance isn't a bad law or a weak institution. It's citizen silence. It's when we, the people, decide we're not going to play.
But hey, if silence is the problem, then the solution is actually pretty simple, isn't it? The most powerful force we have to push back against every single one of those challenges is your voice. It's you, using your voice, getting involved, showing up. That is the energy that actually makes the system work for the people.
So, there it is. The playbook is wide open. You know the field, you know the goal, and you know the rules. Most importantly, you know the power you have. So now there's really only one question left to ask. What's your first move?